Have you ever noticed something strange? A stranger's words might upset you for a few minutes, but one hurtful sentence from someone you love can stay with you for years. Why does that happen? Why do the people we trust the most sometimes become the ones who hurt us the deepest? If you've ever felt betrayed, ignored, or emotionally broken by someone you cared about, this video is for you. Pain doesn't come from words alone. It comes from expectations. We don't expect strangers to understand us. We don't expect them to protect our feelings. But when someone we love makes us cry, the pain feels different because our heart believed they would never be the reason for our tears. Psychology tells us that emotional pain is strongest when it comes from people we trust. The more emotionally connected we are to someone, the more vulnerable we become. Love opens the door to happiness, but it also opens the door to heartbreak. That doesn't mean love is wrong. It simply means that the people closest to us have the greatest influence over our emotions. Think about your childhood. Most of our first emotional experiences come from our family. If we felt accepted, we learned confidence. If we felt rejected, criticized, or ignored, those feelings often stayed with us long after we grew up. Our brains remember emotional experiences because they help us understand who feels safe and who doesn't. That's why old emotional wounds can still hurt years later. Many people believe they are crying because of what someone did, but in reality, they are often crying because of what they expected. They expected honesty, loyalty, kindness, or understanding. When those expectations are broken, it feels like the world beneath them suddenly disappears. This is why betrayal hurts so much. It isn't just about losing someone's trust. It's about losing the version of that person that existed inside your mind. The image you created of them no longer matches reality, and accepting that truth is one of the hardest emotional experiences anyone can face. Sometimes people don't even mean to hurt us. They are fighting their own battles. They carry stress, fear, insecurity, or emotional wounds that they never healed. Instead of dealing with those feelings, they unknowingly pass the pain to the people closest to them. Hurt people often hurt people, not because they always want to, but because they don't know another way to deal with their own emotions. But this doesn't mean you should accept being treated badly. Understanding someone's pain doesn't mean you must tolerate disrespect. Psychology reminds us that healthy relationships require both love and boundaries. Love without respect eventually becomes emotional exhaustion. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing that if they love someone enough, that person will eventually change. Sometimes they do, but sometimes they don't. Waiting for someone to become the person you hope they will be can slowly destroy your own peace of mind. Another painful truth is that people change. The person who once made you feel safe may become distant. The friend who always supported you may disappear when life gets difficult. The partner who promised forever may leave. This doesn't always mean your love was fake. It simply means people grow in different directions, and not every relationship is meant to last forever. Our minds naturally focus more on emotional pain than happiness. Psychologists call this negativity bias. We remember criticism more than compliments. We remember rejection more than acceptance. This was once useful for survival because our brains learned to recognize danger. But today, it often causes us to replay painful memories again and again, making emotional wounds feel even deeper. The problem is that many people begin blaming themselves. They ask questions like, "Was I not good enough?" Or "What did I do wrong?" But another person's actions are not always a reflection of your worth. Sometimes people leave because of their own fears, their own choices, or their own emotional limitations. One of the strongest signs of emotional maturity is realizing that you cannot control how others treat you, but you can control how long you allow their actions to control your life. Healing doesn't happen when they apologize. Healing begins when you stop waiting for an apology that may never come. Forgiveness is often misunderstood. Forgiving someone doesn't mean saying what they did was okay. It doesn't mean forgetting the pain. It means choosing not to let that pain control your future. Forgiveness is something you give yourself before you give it to anyone else. It's also important to remember that not everyone who enters your life is meant to stay forever. Some people are lessons disguised as relationships. They teach you what respect looks like, what boundaries are, and what you truly deserve. Even painful experiences can become valuable teachers if you're willing to learn from them. The next time someone hurts you, instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" try asking, "What is this experience teaching me?" That small change in perspective can turn suffering into growth. Every disappointment teaches you something about yourself. Every heartbreak reveals your strength. Every goodbye creates space for a healthier hello. Real healing begins when you stop chasing people who repeatedly make you feel unwanted. Your energy is precious. Give it to people who appreciate your presence instead of making you question your value. Remember this: your kindness is not weakness. Your love is not a mistake. The fact that someone failed to protect your heart doesn't mean your heart was the problem. The right people won't make you constantly wonder where you stand. They won't make you beg for respect, honesty, or basic care. Life becomes lighter when you stop trying to earn love from people who are unwilling to give it. The greatest relationship you will ever build is the one you have with yourself. When you respect yourself, you naturally begin choosing people who respect you too. If you're hurting today, know this: pain doesn't last forever. Hearts heal, confidence returns, smiles come back. And one day, you'll look back at the person who hurt you and realize they were only one chapter of your story, not the entire book. So protect your peace. Choose people who bring calm instead of confusion. Choose honesty instead of empty promises. And most importantly, never forget that your value is not determined by how someone else treated you. If this message spoke to your heart, share it with someone who may need to hear it today. And if you enjoy simple psychology lessons that help you understand yourself and the people around you, subscribe to Sticky Lesson and join our growing community. Every week, we explore powerful ideas about human behavior, relationships, and the mind in a simple way that anyone can understand. Until next time, take care of your mind, protect your peace, and remember, sometimes the hardest lessons become the strongest foundations for a better life.